All right, apparently we're live, so both myself and my co-caster stepped away for a moment, came back, and the match was already underway. So we do apologize for the break in action here, as we assumed these players were going to give us more time than they actually did. Reminder, guys, this is CEVO Season 9. My name is Bach, with me is Dust Moret. Pistol Round is live. It's going to be Vault starting on the CT side. It's down to a 2v2 retake on the B site right now. Nifty and Relics trying to cement themselves on the site. Nifty and Relics in a great crossfire setup. There is no way that Rarkar can come out with this one. So, they managed to pick up the pistol round. We missed most of it, but we caught the tail end. And again, we do apologize there. Just players getting way faster than we're used to. This is North American Counter-Strike. We're supposed to be like 20 minutes delayed.
Yeah. I mean, I just wanted to go use the can really fast and...
Likewise.
Yeah. I guess I should have been like uncivilized and not washed my hands. I would have made it here in time, but, you know.
I just have a bottle. I have like the spaceman pants where I just like,
oh my God.
I pull those on and it's like the funnel and it just leads out the window.
Speaking of Counter-Strike porn videos that Chad was talking about, there you go. So we are going to see Selfless making their way up mid right now and just mowing people down with these SMGs. Rarkar did fit one frag in, but we are going to see a B pinch play coming in here, in fact, from Selfless. So they're going to be able to box in this one player. Grants, who actually tries to push the smoke to get out of a bind, but it did not pan out. So the spawn will go down, and it will be a 4-on-2 here in favor of Selfless.
I mean, that was a really good setup for the side of Selfless. Gramps made a wise play there. I mean, he's in a spot where he can't really do anything, so he tries to flash his way through, ultimately walked into a trap with two players waiting on the opposite side. See ya later. Nerdy goes down. Great one deep from Nifty. Something that he's been very good with throughout the entirety of his career as a CS player. Since I started watching him back when he played Premier for the first season, he was like a nobody, no one knew who he was. The deagle just made sense to him. And you can clearly see it here as he picks up a nasty one deke through the wall. He's got 2 kills on the round. It's Rarkar trying to salvage the UMP. He's in window. A great shot onto Relics to take down the little bit of HP he had left, but the bomb's going to blow, and Selfless is going to pick up that second round victory.
Again, we've talked about how Selfless is one of those teams that has a pretty good T-side Inferno. Again, most of the teams in the NA scene don't even really like to play. When you look at teams like Cloud9 or Liquid or CLG, they're all teams that really avoid the map, but Selfless has embraced it. And they've always cranked out pretty good T-side. So the fact that Vault has allowed them pistol, you're going to give Selfless a 3-0 start, allow them to get their economy in order pretty quickly. This could wind up being a really bad half. Unless J. Cruel can, you know, put that out to work like he was on Train and some of these other guys can step up, this could wind up being perhaps even more one-sided than Train was. But it's still definitely too early to call, but you got to wonder about it. It's as good as Selfless has been here on Inferno.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to pull up stats for Vault on the map as we speak, just to see how they fared on it, but it definitely is a map that skews way more towards Selfless. Another good start for them, but a one and done for Rarkar and the rest of them are falling. I mean, it's not going to work out well for them. Epi in a good spot to take down one player. He takes the duel with Uber in sight, but he's only got a USP, and Uber has that, you know, kind of shady MAC-10 as he jumps around with the MAC-10. Finally, Mitch comes in with the kill. And then we've talked about this before. The MAC-10 can be so deceiving because sometimes it looks like he's got his knife out because of the sidearm grip. So sometimes, like, you'll see that player and be like, oh, he's got his knife out. It's a free pistol kill. Nope, not today.
Selfless with the 3-0 start, but we do have a full buy coming in for Vault. We are going to have an op in the hands of J. Cruel. And again, he was doing pretty well on Train on his terrorist side there. He was actually getting the better of Nifty in almost all their engagements. So we'll see if that comes into play here. Selfless actually going to go ahead and keep a couple of those SMGs. Just try to be conservative with their money here. See if they can put them to use to get a little bit more use out of them. And they're going to go for a really heavy halls control, putting 4 players in the halls. And they're going to be attacking this lane side very rapidly. And they're going to be able to get the better end of the deal. 3-on-2 trade, and the bomb's going to go down. Ouch.
Yeah, tough round here for Vault yet again. They come into this round with a lot of money invested. J. Cool picks up the off. He's over towards B. He doesn't even get to fire a shot. He's still sitting on a full clip and full reserve, and he's got full utility as well. I mean, he's in the spot where he basically has had no impact on the round. So that Opper, who's been pretty solid filling in the spot of Mitch after he left the team, has no impact whatsoever. And he's just going to be left to save here, trying to keep his op for another round, and just
being
looking
fancy with it though.
Yeah, he's getting his Funin over in
Mainline's gonna. No, Mainline's waiting for it. Look at him; he's checking high. The Mainline's cheating, 100%.
Did you see the flash too that came in? I mean, that's just textbook. He knows he's probably gonna be in T spawn. I mean, where else is he gonna hide?
Never mind. I'm not gonna make that joke. It's too bad. I'm not gonna get.
But I mean,
It's gonna
You
be
know,
about
he-
Breezy and these other things.
Oh,
just
yeah,
gonna let
you
it
know.
go. Maybe Ryu taking a page out of
Probably-
Breezy's book.
probably
If you
best.
can't beat him, join him. You know, type deal. I don't know. I'm just messing around. But
You know, what's funny is like about that whole scandal. The last time the team was wrapped up in a scandal like that, it was with Cool, who eventually
Yeah, they're-
did get banned, and
yeah,
the match
Ryu's
was
usually
on
pretty
this
on
map.
point.
It was on this
So-
map that they
okay.
realized it, so that's kind of interesting. But yeah, so far I pulled up the stats, and Vault has had mixed success on Inferno. They were able to win both of their matches in Premier this season, but both matches went to overtime, and both of them they played with Mitch. So you have to wonder what kind of impact that's going to have. As they obviously haven't had a match, at least in the ESEA season that I'm looking at on Inferno. So 2 close games with one of their best players, then they remove him from the roster. What's going to happen then?
You have Vault this round in a stack on the B-bomb site. And this could wind up being another one of those B-spit plays. You do see Mitch making his way up Arch, and there is the bomb and several other players waiting here at the bottom of Banana to make some type of play here. So it seems like they do want to pinch it. I mean, Mitch gets in the CT spawn for free, but will they run into these crossfires in the site and get into some trouble? It's going to be the big question here. They are marching their way in. Nerdy does have this crossfire at schools. Mayline able to get that frag. Uber and Nifty clear out the site. Yes, the stack only got 1 frag, so that could have been much worse for Selfless. And now they're in good position to close out the round and go up 5-0. So they're off to a roaring here.
Yeah.
No pun intended on their lion logo with that. Or maybe it was.
I would love to hear their voice comms too. Something you'll learn about this team. They have more fun than anybody when they play, at least in my opinion. From teams that I've listened to, like even when they're losing, they're still having a good time. Especially Relics. I casted Fragadelphia and Relics filled in with VVV. And every time we tapped into their voice comms for a listen-in during the stream, Relics would start calling out that someone was diarrhea, or he'd start talking about a rash, or some kind of cream that needed to be applied to certain sensitive areas of his body. So like this team is just like, they have fun, but they're also really good. So it's not like they're just like a bunch of casuals going out enjoying the game. They've found like a nice balance. So I would love to hear their comms as they're off to a 5-0 start, which is solid on their T side. Another buy round coming in for Vault. But obviously the mojo is definitely flowing the way of Selfless right now.
Yeah, I mean, Selfless is just kind of bullying their way through rounds right now. I mean, they're just brute forcing in. Even stacks, they're just able to, you know, attack them. Even when they ran to a triple lane, you know, by Vault, and that was the actual opening buy round, they just roared past it with SMGs. So it's been just Selfless really imposing their will freely on Vault. And now they're going to wrap up the Arch side. There was a smoke up. Vault just kind of playing a pit porch setup right now, and we are going to have Nerdy being able to get a couple of kills here from inside the porch. He will eventually be traded, but it's actually an advantage to Vault now. The bomb will get planted, yes, but Vault will have a slight edge going into this retake as they do have an extra man to work with.
But the bomb is really planted well for Uber in this position. And look at this. Relics just creeping in. He's going to play in apartments. Uber's going to have to pick up at least 1 in this position. Gets the first one as Effie tries to come around the corner for Big Box. Starts spamming away a little bit early. Doesn't do quite the damage he needed to. Relics jumps out. Bomb's not really ideal for Relics, but he needed to get the first player anyway, and it doesn't go their way. So Vault picks up the first round. Costs them a lot of money. I mean, they lose 3 players.
You're
So
seeing
ultimately,
Selfless just
not
kind of run through the rounds, right? They're not really taking their time. They're not really playing default. They're just doing really fast executes. They're just in Vault's face, just, you know, asserting their dominance, or at least trying to. But that round, Vault did actually do pretty well, and it was thanks to Nerdy just being able to get a couple of nice frags from the ports to ensure that Vault would have a man advantage going into that retake. So finally, Vault able to show us a little bit of something here, put a round on the board, but will they be able to continue to do that? I mean, eventually Selfless could slow things down, just play standard, and get several more rounds before the half is over with. I mean, now that they've been slowed down, yeah, they will just take it a little bit easier now, but, I mean, can Vault consistently find CT rounds?
Really, it's about getting confident again. They kind of lost a lot of that in the second half and the latter half of the first half, even on Train, when Selfless really took over and started just piling rounds on. So now that they moved over to Inferno and Selfless has gotten off to a 5-0 start, ultimately before Vault was able to pick up their first round, it's a little bit hard to feel strong and confident in this type of scenario, especially knowing that this is a map Selfless is as good as they are on it, and knowing that it's a do-or-die situation. You have to win this map if you want to continue on. Molly's going to land right under J. Cruel's feet. He's got a backpedal, smokes it off, but damage has been dealt down to 71. The opening pick did go the way of the CT side, though. His main line is down. That kill went the way of Effie. But they managed to get a little bit of mid control here, pushing up towards slats. They've got boiler control as well, so a little bit of control, but they don't realize that there's a trap on the opposite side. 3 CTs waiting for them. First one goes down though, so a good refrag from Mitch, but Effie is in a really good position. Oh, you gotta win those. Only gets one. Somehow Relic survives. So the push continues on towards the A side. Finally, Rarkar is going to peek out from balcony. Spots Mitch coming in on the take. Now he finds a second and a third. Huge play from Rarkar there, coming in from pit after dropping off of the balcony. So Vault manages to do it. They chain 2 together, and Selfless, still with enough money, they're going to come into yet another buy.
Big round there from Vault. Again, that triple lane setup that Vault has been implementing and has done them wonders on these rounds that they've been able to take victories on. Out trading their opponents finally now. Even though Selfless slowed it down, they lost a player early before they could really set up their execute, and that kind of put them on the back foot, and they didn't really recover. But they still are onto a full buy. Again, they had a big 5-round winning streak, and in a lot of those rounds, they didn't lose too many players, so had plenty of banks stored up for a situation like this. Though they will probably run out of money if they don't wind up getting this round. But they've also kept the CT's economy in check, so they can force a save immediately out of them, despite they've won a couple rounds in a row. And now Nifty putting that op to work at Banana, able to take down J-Cruel. So this time around, the opening duel at B goes in favor of Selfless. They now slow things down, getting apartments control in the meantime, just opening up all their options.
Yeah, they have to be careful not to overextend. A lot of players will make the mistake of getting that opening kill and just using it to try and flow out into the site where the kill comes from. In this situation, they tried to put more pressure towards A, and it backfires big time as Nerdy picks up 2 on the push out of apartments. Uber already up towards water, though. Ooh, he spots Gramps. Now he can take the fight with the man Spindles, but he just can't quite get enough damage through the Spindle. So Gramps eventually goes down, but the damage has been dealt here. It's down to just Relics and Nifty. Effie's just going to surrender bomb site control and wait for his team to come in on the retake. So it is going to be a post plant here. Nade's on point. Not quite. Effie survives the nade just clipping the edge of the door frame. Relics with the molly, and that's perfect timing here as it's going to delay things just a little while longer. But the positioning for Selfless really isn't ideal here. Both players in a similar spot.
Yeah, smoke will go up, so it's going to keep slowing down construction, but now Vault's going to make their way through main. They're going to put a nice incinerator there in the back corner. Not going to flush anybody out, and Nifty actually lands the outshot on the Rarkar, finds another headshot onto Nerdy, so now it's all up to Effie's 1v1 against Relics. He's running out of time. He's going to stick to the defuse, and Relics is going to come out and grab the kill. So, I mean, Nifty, big round for him. He got the opening kill, and then he got 2 really clutch kills there at the end to close out the round for Selfless. So we talked about him having a tough game on Train, but he is doing wonders for Selfless right now here on this terrorist side, especially this particular round.
Yeah, let's see. What was he at the end of that one? He was at 13 and 11 compared to 2 and 7 at halftime. So he turned it around and went 9 and 4 in the second half. No, wait, math is wrong. That's 11 and 4. Sorry, math is wrong.
There
so
you
he did
go.
11 and 4, and then he's coming to the first half of this one. He's 8 and 4. So he's at a combined 19 and 8 since the second half of the last week. So obviously a major statistical turnaround. And the pop flash on B absolutely backfires as the side of the Vault gets slaughtered. And now Selfless is in a ridiculously solid spot, picking up 7 rounds to Vault's 2.
Yeah, it's getting rough on them right now. They will get a full buy here, but they lose this, they're right back to saving. And that's when Selfless can crank this up to 9-2. And that's where Vault may have taken too much damage to recover from. Again, this game has been drifting a bit more T-sided lately with the new meta and the clocks and all that good stuff. But I think Inferno is still one of those maps where you are usually able to put up good numbers on the CT side. So the fact that Vault are, at a point now where they may not even find 8, that's a real problem.
Yeah, it's not a map like Nuke where you could just be like, hold a spot and aim, and you could get away with really solid 12-3 halves. It requires more coordination on your CT side, so you can't necessarily play as fast and loose as some of the other maps in the rotation. So while it is, statistically speaking, one of the most CT-sided maps in the current rotation, it requires more than just holding angles. Proper positioning mid is really a big part of it, and they tried to do that here as they went for the double stack towards porch side, but it just gets slaughtered again. Selfless just storms up mid and really just doesn't really slow down. They just run right into the A site. They barrel through. There's still a minute left on the clock when they take the site.
The thing is, Vault has run that triple lane setup at least 3 or 4 gun rounds that I've seen, and they've only been able to come out with 1 victory out of that. So despite the fact that Selfless is playing into their setup, mean, that's exactly what you want. You want heavy lane attacks coming in because you have 3 crosshairs pointed at it. You have, you know, one on top of the porch, one under the porch. Maybe you have a third guy just floating right in between by truck or something like that who can push out and assist, and yet they're just getting mowed down. So it's become a situation similar to what happened at the end of the first half on Train, where it's not even that they're making mistakes, it's that they're just getting outgunned across the board.
Yeah, like people are probably looking at this and they're like, "Oh man, Vault really sucks." No, not really. You know, they're just outclassed right now. Selfless has been around longer. They've put in the work. I think that Vault shows promise, but ultimately they don't have necessarily as stable a platform to be working with as of yet. So you can't really fault Vault for losing a lot of these rounds, especially on one of their better maps. Gramps manages to survive in that situation. So does Jake Rule, actually. So it's just Nifty left alive here at the end of the round. But they don't even care. I mean, Selfless does not care. Their money doesn't matter anymore. Get as many kills as you can, cripple the cash as much as you can on the CT side. You've already got 8 rounds. Anything you can do to make it harder for the CT side at this point is icing on the cake.
I mean, Selfless is just having a monstrous half at this point. And, I mean, Vault is going to have to dig real deep here if they want to stay in this game. Because, again, if they lose this map, they're out of the tournament, and Selfless is moving on to the semifinals to play against the winner of our next match, which is Ace and TSM. We do see them once again just getting really fast up Arch. This has been one of their trademarks throughout this game and throughout their history on Inferno, just being able to control this so rapidly. This time, though, Jake Rule is able to shut this part of the attack down, and they have a quick flank from Rarkar, so they might be able to get this.
There you go. Good pick from Uber as they make their way out onto the site. Uber's going to find 2. Rarkar coming in on the flank. A great shot with the Mag 7. Giving Nifty a little bit closer of a haircut.
Nifty was not ready for that, I promise you.
Not at all. I mean, the Mag 7 was so close. He tried to hit the shot, but very limited time. So Rarkar is going to get himself an off, but he really needs to go for this at this point. They realize they've already given Selfless too much room on their T side. But the post-plan positioning here from Selfless is solid. Putting one towards New Box. Uber boosts it up on Dark Spot. He's just looking to spot him as they try and come into the site. The smoke works out so wonderfully here for Uber. Unfortunately, he plays it a little bit looser than he needed to, but Relics makes quick work of the 2 CTs making their way onto the site. So Selfless pick up another round, and I think that was, what, a 2v4? That came down to a 2v2, if I'm not mistaken? Or was it a 3v4?
I'm trying to think. I'm pretty sure it was a 4-on-3, because J. Cruel traded 2 for 1 at Arch before the B-Execute started. And then Selfless got an entry and got it back into a 3-on-3.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, it was pretty even trading going on. It's just that Rarkar had such a great opportunity with that quick flank and taking down Nifty. I think he got it back into a 3-on-2 there at the very end. And they just couldn't make the retake happen. Just kind of a double dark corner play from Selfless where they're able to come out and win. And now look at this Vault back to just on pistols. And so Selfless may push us to double digits with still 3 rounds left to play in the half. So this is just, I think, a nightmare for Vault at this point. But that's a good opening kill, at least to help things along a little bit in this round.
Yeah, I mean, they mixed it up a little bit by actually peeking on mid instead of just surrendering it and playing it more of like a passive trap style, going for like 2 on lane and 1 towards arches. Nice shooting from Gramps, getting a headshot on Uber. Doesn't really matter though. Relics managed to pick up 2 in the B side. They still haven't pushed the bomb in either direction. Relics is just kind of scouting things out right now. He's got the molly in hand, tosses it over towards Garden, and now he's actually going to fall off. They're going to go towards A. They realize it's very likely both players are here. Relics is barely alive right now, a hairline left of his HP. So Rarkar does chase him down with the 5-7, gets the AK in hand, but the bomb's going to be planted on the A site. And the big story, no kit for the CT side. So if they are going to go for this, they're going to have to run.
Yeah, they're going to have to go for it here and now. They only have 1 smoke to use as well, so maybe you can block off a pit player with that and it helps you get into the site, but otherwise you're still going to have to hit some nasty shots to break in. It looks like they do want to go for it. It's understandable. It's a 2-on-2. It's winnable. They need rounds. They feel pressured to go for this, but Effie's has already been spotted by Mitch, and Molotov will go down to stop him from being able to push through. So they're starting to run out of time at this point to make this happen, but we are going to see Effie's being on the Mitch, but Nifty, he's going to be able to stop the diffuser. He's got the deagle. He's already done a lot of damage here to Effie. Now he's going to jump out with the knife, just swinging it around. They're going to go for a straight-up knife battle. Effie's will win that. He'll go ahead and have some honor and duel him out there, but I mean, the round was already lost before the knives even came out. There was no time for him to defuse, so the knifing part of that was just for show, just for fun. It didn't really matter. He's going to get the $1,500 though, so I guess that part helps out a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like Vault right now in this situation is kind of just like bowing to Selfless, like, okay, You guys are very good on Inferno. We'll give you that. They're not salty about the fact that they're losing right now. They realize that Selfless is just playing lights out Counter-Strike on this map. So that you can't really be too upset about it. And that kind of shows that situation where he goes in for the knife. Like, he could have easily killed him and then tried to get the defuse. He could have been classless, but he just plays along with it, has a good time. I mean, it's a 10-2 at this point. Selfless is in such a good spot. So they're going to start things off again here, despite the fact that they put the Scar 20 in play. Uber's able to get the pick on A, and they're going to just storm on up. Scar 20 be damned. They're going to get site control, so now they're going to make that Scar 20 come in on the retake, which is much harder than it is to just hold a corner and mow them down before they get site control. But look at this play from Gramps right now, creeping up in long haul. He's going to have to be the big player here to take down Nifty, and Pit comes around, spots the man in sight. Oh, goodness, Gramps, that took a little bit longer than it should have. Finally, Relix does manage to take down Gramps, and it's just Relix and Jake Rule in a 1v1, and Relix is going to trade positions in the smoke. So a bit of an NA shuffle of a different variety occurring right now. Jake Rule still trying to spot him. Relix eventually gets the kill, and it's just another round that falls into the lap of Selfless.
Yeah, it doesn't get much worse than this. We're only 2 rounds from being from worst case scenario, in fact, so... Vault here still not having a whole lot of money to work with. Can't get that op in J. Crow's hands. Going to be limited on utility. Even Nerdy having to get a mag 7 with Rockard just to be able to get any utility in on the round. And I mean, it's just like Vault has folded at this point. Selfless just really doing whatever they want at this point. They can get away with whatever it is they choose to do. I mean, they've gone fast pace and just hit mid, or they've done these fast B pinches through Arch and Banana. They've slowed it down and played more methodically and won a couple of rounds that way as well. And now they're right back into just getting in the Vault's face as quickly as possible. And there's Mitch delivering the headshot on the Effie. So, you know, they have all this map control. They've pushed in the CT spawn. I mean, Vault just doesn't have an answer to anything that Selfless is throwing their way. And yeah, it looks like you might even have a quick, 15 or 20 minute break before the second message restarts at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's down to Nerdy here. He's got the P250. Takes him a little bit of time to collect the kill on Nifty there. The bomb plant just not necessarily ideal when you're shooting a player planting the bomb. The models don't always line up. Something I thought that we would have probably fixed by now, but I guess it just remains a problem. At this point, though, it's not even that big of a deal. I mean, even if he kills him there and shuts down the bomb plant, there's 4 players waiting for him on the other side, and all he's got is a mag 7 and a P250 to work with, so... Selfless right now, I mean, what can you really say about Vault? We can talk all day about how they're being outplayed, but it just sounds like we're trashing on them, which we're not. I think Vault is unfortunately just outclassed. Not necessarily that they're playing bad CS,
it's not an insult to say they're outclassed,
yeah, exactly.
It's just saying how good Selfless is playing. I mean,
Exactly.
Vault's done some great things. They're about to be at Premier Land for ESCA for a chance to get in the Pro League over there. So, I mean, it's not like they're absolutely awful, but tonight, Selfless is just obviously crushing them. I mean, there's no other way to pitch it, as we're going to get to have 13-2 just... I mean, its fault doesn't even have a defense. I mean, again, some of the things that Selfless were doing were not the things they would do in an intense Inferno match where they were getting challenged really well. They were just kind of, at the freestyle in there towards the end. I mean, because anything they did worked. I mean, it's one of those things where it's just a perfect scenario, right? Like you feel like you can't lose. Everything you're throwing at your opponent's working, and that's just like a dream scenario to be in if you're an in-game leader or a coach for a team like that. Also, there was a question in chat about this, so I wanted to answer this because I think it is important. Is people were wondering, hey, we thought that Selfless was, supposed to play CLG for a land spot. That is the case. Yes, Selfless and CLG are still in the finals of the second qualifier for this Pro League, and they will be playing them this week. If they win that, they'll just get a land spot right then and there. But just in case Selfless were to lose that match against CLG, they did go ahead and participate in this bracket to kind of give them a second chance, basically, to get into the land if they wind up losing the CLG in that previous qualifier. So they're basically playing in 2 different brackets for us to qualify for land.
Yeah, and a chaotic pistol round here brings it down to just Gramps, who's left fighting for Vault's survival at this point. Selfless is at 13-2, picking up this pistol round basically means a victory. Mainline's going to get him up with the hello as he jumps into pit. So a solid pistol round for Selfless. But yeah, I actually had to ask for clarification on that myself because I was like, I'm a little confused here. I see they haven't
It's certainly
played out
confusing.
CLG. Yeah.
It would have been ideal if Selfless had played CLG before this bracket started so that they could either not participate or, lose it to CLG, and then this bracket would have been the main thing. It would have made a lot more sense that way, right? But unfortunately, it just couldn't happen because CLG was at DreamHack Malmö. So we needed to, progress with this bracket, and Selfless participated just in case it was CLG. So, I mean, our land's in a couple of weeks, so we had to get through this bracket.
Yeah, I mean, you're forced by time constraints, but you also don't want to disqualify a team for not being able to play at another event. So you do what you can to try and accommodate everyone. Nifty, all alone here in a 1v1. Rarkar on the opposite side. He's got the MP9, also known as the sewing machine. He's going to be working his way in towards the B site right now with the bomb on his back, so it is going to be a retake situation here. So a potential round brewing for Vault, as Nifty is a little bit low on HP, and Rarkar does have the molly to work with, but Nifty has a kit, and he has plenty of time as well. So he's going to be coming up from B. Kind of curious what he's doing with this nade here. Is he going to toss this towards the back of site? Oh, goodness. If this is on point, just not quite as much damage as I thought it might have dealt. Tried to toss it up over the fence, over towards Nubox. That does kind of tip his play off, though, towards Rarkar, who's going to end up getting the barbecue frag as the flames spread to Nifty. Tried to jump up on the wall there. So, oh well, Selfless lose a round, but at 14-3, I think they can shrug that one off.
Yeah, I don't think that's doing them any real harm. And yeah, we'll take a look at the bracket after this game is over. Some people are asking to see it so they can figure out what's going on. You can check it out on the CEVO website if you want to. If you go to CEVO.com and you go to the events and select Season 9 Pro League, that's where you can find it for yourself. But we'll throw it up there at some point for you to let you know what's going on. As we are in the 18th round of the game, so it's up 14-3. We are going to see Selfless on just pistols, but they're getting aggressive at Banana, and Uber's already found himself one frag, finds himself a second one, could even get a third. There it is. The 1Bigs are real right now, and look at this maneuver from mainline. He's going to catch a kill at middle in this round. Oh my, not like this, Bach.
This is unfortunate if you're Vault, because this is really just showing off the storyline from the entire game. It comes down to pistols here and potentially a victory for Selfless Brewing. But Rarkar wisely rotates the bomb all the way through CD spawn. Mainline realizes it, and he's hot on his tail. So Rarkar is going to have time to get the bomb down if he wraps around towards the front of site. But if he plants for library, he could be walking right into mainline as he comes in from CT spawn. Mainline is kind of hustling a little bit quick, though, so Rarkar might hear him. But either way, Rarkar gets into pit. He's got a lot of utility to work with, too. Mainline's not even going to peek towards that direction. Rarkar plays it patiently. I think he even hears him jumping around at site by now. So it looks like another round for Vault unless Mainline pulls something out of his hat.
Yeah, this would be pretty insane. He's got to fight an AK at range with the Mag 7 while Rarkar has the best position you could have post-plant in pit. Mainline is going to go and check for it, but he's now running out of time and he knows he has to stick it. So, I mean, Rarkar just played this really well. There's a great maneuver to go into CT spawn, as you noted, having awareness of what was going on the map. With a guy flanking with that Mag 7 and alt mini, knew that guy was probably going to flank him B, so he goes for A, he's right, and he secures the round. So Vault showing us a little bit of life here at the very end. Still, they have a long road to travel if they want to actually get back into this map. I mean, Selfless will be able to full buy soon, and that's when you'll be up against a much more difficult challenge. But, they're taking those first little steps to get there.
I mean, Rarkar had a great first half. You just don't see it in like the efficacy category because they weren't winning rounds. So he was 15-12 at halftime, and he's been 6-1 in the second half. So he's definitely performing. It's just unfortunately his team was never really able to convert his effort into round victories, which was ultimately the problem for him. And that was the same problem that Gramps had on the first round. I mean, he was doing really well. They just couldn't do anything with it. Mainline's in a good spot right now. He pop flashes over, but no one's going to be pushing into that position just yet. He's walking right into a trap here as Effie is already spraying in that spot. He's trying to jump around, somehow survives way longer than he should have. And a lot of damage dealt here to Vault. I mean, Rarkar's on 2 HP, Effie on 6. So depending on where they try to take this fight, they could actually end up surrendering around here to Selfless.
And that wouldn't be good because that would put Selfless on map point and series point. And then that would be Vault not having any more chances to qualify for this LAN event. This is one of those rounds you think they should be able to win, and was Selfless pretty much on a save for one Mag 7 that was put into play. They are working their way up Arch now with 4 players, and they haven't really committed to wrapping site or going CT spawn at this point, but now they do begin the pressure into the site. Uber in pit has been discovered. He's the only player here. So it looks like Vault should be able to get this now.
First one to take the peek is going to be... Yeah, I mean, first one to take the peek is Rarkar, and he manages to get the 1D. So that damage that's been dealt is really going to plague them here, as Uber has managed to find himself an AK, and there's one man in sight that's heavily lit. And now it's just J. Cool back behind Pizza Box, gets the first one, but that's all it's going to be.
Ouch.
You know, Selfless scraped together an eco victory, and we kind of saw that coming. I mean, there was foreshadowing in the previous round when Uber got a 3K with the Deagle, so we knew that could happen.
That just goes to illustrate how hard it can be to win around at the A bomb site when you don't have control of Pit. Even if you have a numbers advantage, and even if you were able to wrap all those players around Moto and you're able to get a bomb planted, if that player Pit can stay alive, he's going to be a constant nuisance, and he's always buying time for other players to get in position to set up the coordinated retake. And so Pit, just so powerful position to have for either team in that area. And with the Selfless holding on to it, you know, Uber staying alive, getting a kill even here and there, it's so difficult. It can be so difficult to deal with if you don't have like incineration stuff to clear that out. And now it looks like Selfless want to just put this game to rest, as they do have a 3-on-2 at this point.
Oh, we're gonna have to have a little talk with Mainline after this one. That horrible insult at the end of that round. Oh, that was so bad. I'll hit him up afterwards to talk. I'll give him a little pointer or two about how to properly burn an opponent. But it is down to just two here, Rarkar and Effie, and I guess the ultimate way to burn Vault would be to just close things out here and make it a 16-4. A 2-0 on the night for Selfless would be ideal. Never even having to encroach upon Mirage, which was a map we still kind of gave them the advantage on, so if they could close this out with 2-0, they're going to be feeling pretty good, give themselves a little bit of time off on the night. And still no real action after the opening kills, as it's down to just Rarkar and Effie trying to get control of Banana. They've got Relic sitting on top of first Orange, and Nifty back by CT. He's set up for a flash towards water so he can flash out and Relics can peek in front of it. Something that's been, you know, a part of Inferno since the glory days, back when you used to be able to flash into the corner of apartments and peek in front of the flash, and you'd have 4 T-side players rushing towards you, all turning around to avoid the flashbang. But even still, no action here. Finally making their way onto the site. Smokes and flashes going to rain over. One smoke towards Spindles and one towards CT. It's going to be on Relics here to get the first one. Does manage to drop the bomb, and with 23 seconds left, that puts a lot of pressure on Effie here, who's fighting for his team's survival, and he pushes right through the smoke and gets killed by the last bullet of Nifty.
Oh my. He was spamming through the smoke, and that was the right idea to jump out at him, because the Incendiary was actually blocking his way to go upstairs. You kind of got forced into making a play like that, just couldn't find the kill. So there you have it. A pretty one-sided series in favor of Selfless. It was to be expected. I mean, I think we gave some hope to Vault for Train, but kind of knew that Inferno was going to be, you know, a big win for Selfless, and they do get it done. So they will be moving on to play in the semifinals against the winner of the match we're going to do in just a moment here between Ace and TSM. As I think we'll try to see if we can bring up the bracket, see producer if we can get the bracket up on the stream, because I know people were wanting to see it so they can know what was going on. So we'll try to get that up to you in just a moment. But just to let you folks know, we do have Cloud9 taking on Splice in the upper portion of the bracket in the semifinals, and then again we've had Selfless move on after this game, and then we have TSM playing Ace to determine the team that Selfless will play in that semifinal, just to give you a verbal description. And also let you folks know that Selfless will still be playing CLG as well for another chance to qualify for land from the finals of the previous bracket. So that will be scheduled sometime later on this week. So again, folks, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will be back in about 20 minutes to bring you our second best of 3 of the evening, TSM versus Ace Gaming. So yeah, we'll see you then. If you want to give us a follow, be sure to hit that follow button on Twitch, as we will be bringing you more Pro League coverage throughout this week, as well as our land finals at the end of the month. Also give a follow to myself at DustMaret and at BachTV. Our Twitter names are in the title if you want to follow up there. But again, we'll be back in about 20 minutes to bring you that next match.